week, we have a whole program that they'll be getting via email, so sign them up. And then I would love to have any of you come along with me to the Himalayan Institute December 1st through 4th. Let's get started. I bet you could use some yoga on a Wednesday. This class is always like the gear shift of the week. I'll get those. Yeah, I'll get your assistant cards around the room as we get started. So child's pose. Our second level of teacher training called Empower began this past weekend, and we were really focusing on two of the organizing principles that you see on this poster on the wall. The first one is be intentional with the physical foundation of the pose and be up to something bigger than yourself as a result. And your breath is also the physical foundation of the practice. So put your attention on it before it and the opportunity that your breath creates in the practice. With your next inhale, lift your body up into downward facing dog. As you come into the downward facing dog, begin the bending and the straightening of your knees so that you can be intentional with your hands and feet in the pose, the foundation part that's touching the floor. So breath as the foundation of all movement, hands and feet as the physical foundation on the floor. Then look forward to the front of your mat and step forward. When you get to the front, lift up halfway and stretch your whole body, head to tail long, and with your exhale, hang down. Fold your arms and sway from side to side, and as you do that, feel how it is in your feet with your weight. Line your feet up to be parallel and hip-width distance. Make them so they're like hands on a clock facing 12 o'clock, and then press the mound of each one of your big toes down. Once you get that part of your big toe pressing down, also press the center of each heel down. And once your feet are pressing, we get to tap into a quality of lifting up. So drop your arms and come rolling up to standing. One bone stacking on the last until you're standing tall and can reach your arms overhead. Lift up and look up, stretch, and bring your hands to the center of your chest in prayer position. Now set your gaze one space, one place in the room, and set an intention for the practice. 3 ohms. Take a deep breath in. Inhale and reach up. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Lift halfway. High plank to low plank. Exhale. Inhale, stretch the front of your body, upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths, inhale. Steady exhale. 2 more, breathe in. Long breath out. Last time, deep breath in. Empty, bend your knees, move up to your hands. Halfway lift, whole body long, fold down. Press your feet down into the floor, stand up, reach up and look up. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Inhale, lift halfway. Low plank on the exhale. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. 3 breaths in, long and steady out. Keep working the foundation of the pose as you breathe. Maybe make it a little longer at the base. Here's the last one. Inhale, exhale, bend your knees and jump. Halfway lift, forward fold, press your feet into the mat. Stand up, reach and stretch back, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Now keep working to keep your breaths long and smooth, and though allow the pace to maybe pick up a little bit as your body gets a little warmer. Let's finish this exhale and take one last breath in. Breath out, bend your knees, and jump. Inhale, lift halfway, and forward fold. Now chair pose, sit back. Inhale, reach, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, drop, low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right foot forward lunge. Anchor the mound of each pig toe down and lift up. Hands to the floor for chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, left side, step and lunge. Big toes down, fingers and eyes up, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Breath in, let it out. One more breath in, bend your knees, jump. Halfway lift, fold. Chair pose, reach, fold. Half lift, drop, low plank. Upward dog, downward dog, right foot forward lunge. Lift up and reach up. Hands down, chaturanga, empty. Upward dog, downward dog, left foot step and lunge. Lift up, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Now set this foundation long. Go a little longer with your hands and feet, a little wider. Then with your fingertips squeezing the mat and your knees soft, stretch your sitting bones, your hips up and back. One more breath in. Exhale, bend your knees and jump. Half lift, fold. Chair pose. All four corners press. Fold to the floor. Halfway lift, drop to the low plank. Upward dog, downward dog, right foot forward lunge. Big toe mounts, press them, heels press them. Hands down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Step forward, left foot. Look up, reach up, hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Now take your right leg into the air, bend your knee, heel to your hip, flip the pose over. 2 feet to the floor, one hand on the floor. Get the four corners of your 2 feet to each press down to the mat and reach up and overhead. One more breath. Side plank, right hand to the mat, face the long left side of your mat, stack your body up. If you're able, hug your bottom knee into your chest. Then from wherever you're working, turn your chest to the ceiling and look up. Keep the pit of your belly hugging into your body and the front of your pelvis lifting up toward your chin. Another breath, high plank to low. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Left leg into the air. Bend your knee, flip the pose. Steady breathing here. Let the whole side of your body open. One more breath. Side plank. Maybe you never touch the bottom leg to the ground as you come all the way through. Bottom knee into your chest if you're able to. Hug in the pit of your belly. Keep your breath flowing as you look up to the ceiling and reach up to the ceiling. Strong belly, high plank to low. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right foot forward for crescent lunge. Arms overhead. So in your back foot, stand on the ball of your back foot, and if it hangs, heel behind your toes, lean forward more, so it's as though there's a wall right behind the whole sole of your foot. So lean forward more until your heel is on top of your toes. That's it. Now powerful back leg. Then from there, reach up to your fingertips, up through to your chin, and go up and go backwards. More power in the leg, more up and backwards. One more breath. Hands to prayer position and twist. Bring your left elbow to your right knee. Get it anchored there and fire up your back leg. Create a lengthening and a stretching from your back left heel reaching back to your chest, the crown of your head, all reaching forward to the front of your space. Take another breath in. On the exhale, twist, come up to crescent lunge, open to warrior two. Get settled into your feet, settled with your gaze. Lunge down until your front thigh is parallel to the floor and you feel your back leg working in the pose equal to your front leg. Then stretch your two arms apart, tilt for extended side angle. Deep, deep lunge. You can wrap your top arm around behind your back, reach underneath the inner thigh of your front leg, hold hands behind your right hip. Then let the pose get a little bit easier in some way so that you can keep the bind, but lift your chest up to the ceiling. That's it. 3 breaths here. Long, smooth breath. 2 more. With this last breath, let something about your body get easier and therefore your pose deeper. Hands to the floor for chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog, left side forward next. Crescent lunge. Arms up and overhead. So we have a common default really of bringing the weight into the big toe for pretty much everybody. Some more weight can come out to the baby toe. Then you'll have a better foundation to go up and back from. That's it, Megan. If you could imagine that I'm giving some pressure to your inner ankle like I'm giving to Megan, use that as leverage to go up and go back. 1 more breath here. Hands to prayer and twist right elbow to your left knee. Anchor there and twist. Elbow to your knee and twist. One more breath in and a breath out. Crescent lunge to warrior two. Double check with your back foot, at least parallel to the back of your mat, or angle your toes in. That's it, Gracie. Arms stretch apart and tilt for extended side angle. Lunge down a little bit deeper. Imagine the inner thigh line of your front bent leg from groin out to the inside of the knee moving long away from your body, while the back side of that thigh is moving into your body without thrusting your back hip then forward. Keep your back hip aligned and move your thigh. You're welcome to bind the pose, arm behind your back, reach under the inner thigh of your front leg, hold hands, or use a strap to cover the distance between hands. 3 breaths. Lift your chest up, sink your front hip crease deep. 2 more, chest up and twist. You've got 1 more full breath cycle, then hands to the floor for chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Get into your pose and stretch your hips back. Hands, let them sink into the ground in front of you. Then take a breath in. On the exhale, bend your knees and jump. Halfway lift. Forward fold, chair twist. Sit back into your feet. Really lift, let your hips reach like they're searching for a chair. Different from kind of tucking them under and all the weight hanging in your quads. Bring your hands to prayer position. Right elbow to your left knee. One way or the other. We're going to get them both. Now that you're in this pose, without changing anything, put your attention in the surface of your feet and see how you're holding the weight in your feet. I always find that easier to discover for myself by lifting and spreading my 10 toes. As you get to the 4 corners of your feet and get settled, your toes will naturally also settle to the ground. So you're not necessarily meant to hold them up as an endurance event, but long enough that you really get connected, soles of the feet to the floor. 2 more breaths. Twist your shoulder open. Last breath, twist open, then chair pose, reach high, fold. Feet open wide, at least hip width distance. Hook your big toes and stretch down toward your feet. Check out how your feet are. Do they stand here now at like 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock? put your feet at 12 o'clock, like hands on a clock facing 12 o'clock. Shake out your shoulders, let the weight of your head hang down heavy to the floor. I always find that there's something really nice about shifting all of my weight into one foot for a breath and then standing it all on the other foot for a breath. See if I can just get more length down the back of my body. Chair twist the other way. Set your feet up. Know that you want to get back in your heels and with your hips back so you get the weight held in your hamstrings as well as your quads. Yep, so that this reaching of your hands is what's keeping you from falling backwards. Then hands to prayer and twist. There's something interesting about getting your body into one of these poses, working with the parts from the foundation up, and then reaching for the edge of the pose. And then at the edge of the pose, can you still breathe? Is there something you're working that you don't need to be working you could let go of? Some area of your body that could have a little more ease before we leave the pose. Take the last breath in, exhale and twist, then reach up to the chair and forward fold. Palms under the feet from the front for gorilla pose. Here's a spot where I can always check in and discover I don't have the four corners of my feet, especially the mound of the big toe. When you press that down, there's all kinds of extra pressure in the palms that leads to some opening and some more ease in the hands. Hands just aren't something that we necessarily consider needing a massage of sorts, an opening, and yet they do. Let your head hang down. Maybe take a sigh and let your head hang down. Release your hands, handstand hands on the ground, which means fingertips strong with the mat and weight between the palm and the fingertips. Take crow pose. Knees on the outsides of your armpits and just tilt forward. Feet maybe together. 5 breaths here. Work together. It'll be easier working together. You'll have a foundation not just in your own self, your own muscles, but of the whole room. When you complete the last breath, ease your way into chaturanga. That means chest forward, your legs will find their way back. See how you can land that with a bit of grace. Get to your chaturanga, upward facing dog to downward facing dog. From here, take a breath in a down dog. 1 breath out, look forward, move up to your hands. Half lift, forward fold, come rolling up to standing. Arms overhead, eagle pose first, right arm under. Wrap your forearms, right leg over, tuck your toes and keep your gaze. Sit down deep, hug your arms and legs together and invite heat into your body. As much as your hands and feet, when they touch the floor, form your physical foundation. Your core is part of your physical foundation as you hug the front of your pelvis, the pit of your belly in toward your spine, and lift the front of your pelvis up toward your chin. Keep the strong foundation in your core. Step out. Left side, left arm under, left leg over. Anytime you find the need, take the sigh, empty your breath, create a clearing. Nice, Ray. I see that foundation in your core you've just changed there. Sit deep and stand up tall. Little more length, just so there's a little more stretch through the center. Step out, arms overhead. Second set, right side. You can take variations on this second side if you would like to. That could look like folding and pressing the points of your elbows to the higher knee. Could look like your legs in that number 4 shape and folding to the ground. Stay right here and keep working this. Sometimes I find like taking the poses a step further for me can now be overrated. There's something really great about being right in the foundational pose. Step out. Left arm under, left leg over. Practice by practice, you can notice the micro changes in your body, and from that, cultivate a new level of health in your system. Something that maybe took me a little longer to appreciate than the earlier years of the practice, than what I noticed then. All right, step out. Hug your right knee into your chest and keep your drishti set. Hold on to your right foot and extend your right knee. So touch your foot with your hand or a strap, but extend your knee and just keep your gaze set on one point. Let your right hip settle. Yeah, so your two sides of the pelvis, they're level with one another. Let yourself adapt, your body adapt to the shape. Open your leg to the right, look and reach to the left. There you go. Foot down. Press your standing foot, big toe mound down. Find your balance there and lift up. So once your foot presses from your pelvis to the crown, lift up. Bring your leg forward, switch hands on it. Turn, look, reach to the back of the room. I find these standing leg raises, holding the foot, getting all these variations does so much to open my back at the bottom ribs. Come forward and hug your knee into your chest. Get settled, get your gaze set, open up for airplane pose. Press the mound of your standing big toe down. Of your lifting big toe, imagine it pressing into a wall behind you and lift up. That's it. From your foot through your pelvis to the crown, a quality of your whole body getting longer and lighter. Hands to prayer, half moon. Left fingertips to the block or floor, right arm in the air. Stretch your body apart. Look for in this pose what's possible once you press your foot down. What's possible is like a healing event in your body. Move breath, let your body get hot, and see what's possible. Gracie, lift your top leg higher. There. Open your hip a little more. There. Stay. Forward fold. Took it from safe into the edge a little more. Grab your strap if you're using it. Come up to standing and hug your left knee into your chest. Hold on to your foot and extend your knee. Get your spot. Pick your gaze. Open your leg to the left. Look and reach to the right. Standing big toe down. Lift up. That's it. Bring your leg forward. Switch your hands on your leg. Switch hands on it. Turn, look, and reach back. That's it. Harold, let your shoulders relax as you stand tall. Nice. Come forward. Hug your knee into your chest. Airplane pose. Left leg back. Arms open. Open up your shoulders. So that happens by squeezing them to your ears and opening them up to the ceiling. Hands into prayer. Half moon. Right fingertip to the floor. Left fingertips to the ceiling. Press the standing big toe down, the center of the heel down. Oh, Kelly, you had a great lifted foot there. Little softness to your standing knee, just a little, and then lift up. One more breath. Forward fold and hang, sway from side to side. And bring yourself up to standing for the standing bow pose. Right arm bone back, forearm open, hold your ankle from the inside. Work with your knees together and then straight back rather than out to the side. Start with them together. Get your standing big toe and then kick and stretch. That's it. Let the effort come from your legs, ease from your shoulders, and see if you can let your whole chest be pulled apart and breathe into the space. Step out and switch sides. Left arm from back, forearm open, hold your ankle from the inside, right arm up. And then go. Kick back, kick up. Steady breathing. Get the big toe, the standing big toe, and it'll settle the pose. That's it. Now a little bit of lift in the front of it. Come on out. Give yourself a variation on the second set by using a strap. Bend your right knee. Flex your ankle, the strap around the ankle. Kick back a little bit. Bend your elbows by your waist. From here, elbows up to the front corners of the room. Should be pretty tight. Then kick back and let your hands come together. Tons of stretching down your front quads through the kicking legs, hip flexors. And then all the way up through the abdominals on that side, a stretch. Some upward dog to your chest and switch sides. Left leg. So you use a strap, it would go like this. This pose has a lot of qualities like a crescent lunge. Flex your back ankle, kick a little bit, elbows to your waist. Kick a little more, elbows to the front corners of the room, then together and kick. That's it. Stay with it now. Just breathe and be in the experience of it. One more breath. Step out. Front of your mat for tree pose. Left foot down, right foot up. Press your palms together and let your system just settle. Find the balance point, the middle point, where you feel the knuckles of your big toe pressing down. Then interlace your fingers and press your palms forward and take your arms up and overhead. Standing big toe down into the mat. Center of the chest up to the ceiling. Switch sides, right foot down, left foot up. If you feel like your breath is a little getting away from the smooth and steady quality of a foundation, press your hands together. Get more foundation from the hands, more from the foot on the floor, the foot on your inner thigh, until you start to notice your system settle, your breath settle a bit. Then if you're interlacing, the opposite from the last time, baby pinkies on the outside of the fold of your hands, press your arms forward, take them overhead. Little softness in your standing knee and press the knuckle of your big toe down. And lift up and go back. One more breath. Step out and come to the front of your mat. At the front, sweep your arms overhead. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Halfway lift, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right foot forward, triangle pose. Long stride, triangle pose. Keep your breath flowing. In this pose, your foot facing 12 o'clock, your front foot and your front knee faces that way. You'll have to create a wrapping open all the way up in the hip of the front thigh. And then watch that you don't throw your back hip forward. More pit of the belly. Let your chest open, let your head drop back. More pit of the belly. Come on up to standing. Could you feel that more? Turn to face the long left side of your mat. Forward fold. Feet parallel to the short sides of your mat. Once you get folded, walk your hands in front of you. Fingertips to the mat. Get them as far in front of you as you can get them. Just fingertips on the ground. And then breathe in, and as you exhale, sink the weight back into your hips. Get a lot of stretching, a lot of lengthened space between each one of your ribs. I've come to really enjoy the subtle, simple impact of each one of the poses, this one being one of those, to really enjoy this feeling of all the space that gets created on the sides of the ribs, right under the shoulder blades. Come to the center, up to standing, turn to face the front of your mat, standing, single leg forward fold, feet apart, not on a straight line, and some length. Then hands on your hips and pull your right hip back, front big toe down and fold. Work with how soft your front knee needs to be for this. Back leg, that one's straight, but maybe your heel has to lift. We're looking for a connection from your front foot's big toe and heel all the way up the back of your front leg to your sitting bone on your right hip. A split is a nice variation. Some kind of next stage. So if you're standing twisting triangle, if you're in the split, there are a lot of different things you can do. You can add rotation, you can forward fold, you could reach back and hold your back ankle. A lot of variations. Now twisters, you keep your right hip driving back. That's it, Suzette. Same for you, Kelly. A little weight in your back foot. Shift weight to the back. Yep. Okay, hands to the floor, move to downward facing dog. We'll take the other side, left side triangle, step forward. Take a long stride between your 2 feet. Anchor the 4 corners of both feet. Big toe mounds down, center of the heels down. Toes at first lifting up, then stretch long. Torso on the right side, but also the left side, long. Reach and stretch to the edge of the pose. Now breathe and look for where there might be new space to move into. Good, Harold. That's perfect. Nice, Chuck. Couple more breaths. Just let your chest roll open. You got it. That looks great. Another breath. Come on up to standing. Face now the long right side of your mat. Arms behind and interlace your hands, or use the strap to do the bind. Chest up high and forward fold. All the way down. Hands spill overhead. Your head may touch, it might not. Your hands might touch, they may not. And there's an opportunity here again for a lot of length in your back ribs, some new kind of space in the fronts of your shoulders. You might feel a lot of stretching in your lower back, your inner thighs. Look for what's possible in your body. And then come up to standing, face the front of your mat. Standing single leg forward fold. A lot of arm variations available. Whatever it takes to keep your hips level and square. Then whatever it takes to put emphasis on the stretch at the back of the front leg. The length to the sides of your torso. Once you get this, if you could imagine your hips are fixed in space, like they're sitting on a solid surface and they stay there, from there build the twisting triangle. Right hand down, your hips though fixed on a surface behind. You got it. Front big toe down. Really good. A lot of good alignment here. 2 more breaths. Twist. Last breath. Twist. Hands to the floor. Downward facing dog. Stretch back in your down dog, then high plank and lower down to your belly on the mat. Once you're on your belly, either toes stay turned under like this so you can really get a sense of your feet, or point your toes and all 10 toenails, press them into the ground. Then arms open, wide airplane wings, stretch long and lift up. We are looking for more of the long than the lift up. The lift up comes out of the long. So you can press your feet back as though they're pressing into a wall behind you. The ball of your big toe mounts, press back. The center of each heel, press them back. Let your tailbone reach back with your heels and feet pressing back. Another breath. Come on down. You can shake your hips from side to side. Floor bow, bend your knees, reach back and hold your ankles. From the outside, palms facing in. Knees hip width distance, back and up. Now stay with this pose and work with it. Feel how this pose evolves as you hold it. Flex your ankles. Breathe and imagine the 4 corners of your feet, particularly your big toe mounds, pressing up. The center of each heel, press them up. Now stay here, 5 more breaths. What's available? 4 more breaths. 3, 2, and 1. Come on down. Feet side to side. Second set. Bend your knees, hold your ankles. Get ready for your legs to really be the power point here. And then see if your legs will drive up and back. And then with this, A little more drive from the legs, a little less drive from the legs, and you'll find forward and back on your mat, you're rocking forward and back over your abdomen. More leg, less leg. Yep. See if it gives you access to more of the rocking forward and back. It's an interesting massage of the organs of your abdomen. That's it, Kristen. Yeah. It's a little tricky to get that momentum at first. You can rock all the way to your ribs and back to your knees where your hip bones come off the ground. Come on down. Wave your feet from side to side. All of the variations in pursuit of what else is available in my body today to let me leave this practice feeling like I've taken care of myself and I've provided healing today. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Stretch back. Camel poses next, knees on the ground, hands not in your low soft back, pushing your belly forward, rather in your back pockets, back of your pelvis, pressing down like you're just driving your hands down into your pockets and pressing wide. Once you have that wide sense of the lower back from your knees up to your chest up, keep length and space in the back side of your body. If there's a spot that becomes crowded feeling, like for example, you feel like your chest is sinking backwards and you've got this kind of cut off point, lift up instead. Train your body to do the lifting up. So right through here, Suzette, a little more. Yes, just like that. Does that feel different? And now to keep that, you'll just need your low belly hugging in. Yep, you'll use that in every back bend. Bring your chest up to the ceiling and out of the pose. Stretch into the downward facing dog. You can start to feel that transformation of a Wednesday at 4 o'clock changing from middle of the week energy to like, I got this, end of the week energy. I think that it starts to happen right here in the 4 o'clock class. Let's do a second set of this camel, knees on the ground. This is the spot not to let the pose just sink, but to really purposefully anchor your knees in the balls of your feet and lift up. While your knees press down from the pelvis to the crown, you lift up. Even if you're taking a variation, like fully reclining this camel pose, you can reach for your feet. Even when you reach for your feet, keep touching at the feet, but right through the ribcage bottom, lift up. Next inhale, come out of it with your chest, hands to the floor, downward facing dog, stretch back. Feel this body that you're in right now. How does it feel to be in your skin? Jump through your hands, sit down, roll onto your back. Bridge pose is next. Feet on the floor, under your knees, hip width distance. Press your feet down, lift your hips up. Once you get up onto the shoulders, rock side to side and tuck them under your back. Really get connected from your shoulders back into your mat as a foundation. Lift your 10 toes, hold them in the air for a few breaths, spread your 10 toes, and experience and feel the four corners of your feet pressing down. Bring your right knee into your chest. Keep your left foot where it is, right knee into your chest. Breathe. Hug into your center line. Yep. Foot on the floor, left knee into your chest. Whether you straighten your knee or not, hug into your center line with both inner thighs until it clicks in, and all of a sudden it's easier to hold. Foot on the floor and come on down. Knees side to side. Bridge pose. Set it up. Up into your bridge, then set your hands up under your shoulders and wide. And anchor your thumb down like you've been anchoring the ball of your big toe down. Press into the ground and lift up into your wheel pose. That's it. So the thumb side of the hand and the mounds of your big toes, press them down. And then feel free to find from the press down where and how the lift up comes. Come on out of the pose. Knees side to side. Now let go of what that pose was or wasn't and get into the experience of the next 5. Hands, feet on the floor, press down, rise up. Come up into the wheel. 2 breaths. In, and out. Stay for the next full breath in and out. Then tuck your chin and come on down. Knees side to side. With 4 left, set it up. Press down, rise up. Press the mound of your big toe down. Press the center of your heel down. Come on down, knees side to side. Next one, hands, feet on the floor, press down, rise up. I definitely love to tippy toe at this point and walk my hands in closer to my feet. Just get adapted to that new space. Tuck your chin and come down. Knees side to side. 2 to go. Press down, rise up. Tippy toe, walk your hands in close to your feet and really get the mound of your thumb, the mound of your big toe. You can keep your heels in the air. We'll get to pushing them down, or if you're ready, press them down. You'll find extra stretching on your quads. Come on down. Knees side to side. Last one. Bridge pose, into wheel, press down, rise up, go. All the way up. You got a bridge pose or into the wheel. Walk your hands in close to your feet if you're working with that level of flexibility. You got it. You can set your hands wide. Work together 3 breaths if you got it. 1, 2 more. Last one. Come on down. Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of your feet together. Knees open wide. Even here as you rest in Supta Baddha Konasana, if you're feeling this deep arching in your lower back, press your feet into the ground so you can lift your hips up and move your pelvis down toward your heels. Yep, lengthen your lower back. Keep your Supta Baddha Konasana legs. Well, you can put your feet on the ground, lift your hips up, and really stretch your hips toward your heels. There's no arch of your lower back left. Keep your Supta Baddha Konasana legs. Make this diamond shape of your legs. I would even lift your 10 toes up. Then put your hands together, interlace your fingers, release your index fingers, and cross your thumbs. Now, curl up and point your fingertips between your toes. Pause. Sink the pit of your belly down into the mat. Then we're pulsing. Breathe in and reach between your toes with your fingertips. And do that 10 times. Keep going for 10, 9. Go, and now keep the pit of your belly down so the arching doesn't come into your lower back. Finish your last few. Not a big motion here. It's a deepening. Come on down, hug your knees and chest. Could you feel that? Here's what we'll do this time. Again, put your feet on the ground, pick your hips up, stretch your lower back, and put your hips back down on the ground. Feel your whole back on the ground. Then bend your knees, press into your thighs. And we're going to go like this. So curl up and keep pressure there. Then you'll open one side arm and leg and bring it back together. Your goal is to feel your lower back on the ground the whole time we're doing this. Keep on going. One side opens, one side pressures. You keep a deep listening into this part of your body, all the area of the front and back of your pelvis up to the bottom rib. Keep on going. 2 more times each side. If you feel your pelvis rocking up and down off the ground, we want more stable, more tucked pelvis. Come on down. Now you should feel fire in your belly from that. And there should not be any pain in your lower back. 2 legs up in the air. Flex your feet. Curl up. Lower your right leg down and let it hover. Again, same rules. All of the lower back on the ground. What you can do is keep it higher. Soften your knees. Don't compromise. And we'll just here 10 times, 9 times, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. All the pit of the belly on the ground. And relax. Switch sides. Other side. Accommodate this side the way it needs to be. And then you pulse. Hug to your center line. Hug. Give me a hug here, Suzette. Hug. You're chasing and running away from me. Keep on going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hug your knees. I know, it's good, isn't it? This is your handstand body when you have so much low belly core control that you don't end up dropping into no belly working. Now I'm in the big sway. Okay, you can rock head to tail, back and forth. Guess we better move on. I was going to think of a few more, but let's go to downward facing dog. Let's do this one more. Go through to your downward facing dog. This is always a favorite. Once you get to your downward facing dog, bring your forearms to the mat, dolphin downward facing dog, and then come to a high plank and point your toes behind you. So now you'll have to keep the core strength shape we used for those ab exercises. Keep breathing here and tap your toes without rocking your hips from side to side. Go for 10. More strong pit of the belly. 9. 8. Is the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's a Gracie. More pit of the belly, though. Okay, child's pose. Stretch back. I don't feel like you liked that one. Right side pigeon pose. It's that low pit of the belly that is our center of the strength, core strength, the thing that as an older person is going to keep you balancing when you lose your grip on the floor or your stability goes. That's the balance that helps you catch and keeps you stable and upright. Or in many other situations, you just need your core to help you do life. And it's the spot that we do a lot of limb exercises and surface abdominals, but we miss that deep core. That you can even find it is actually an accomplishment. It's not something that's just there. It takes training to really locate and choose it and use it until it's a habit. Sit onto your right hip, swing your left leg around and take double pigeon. Now, double pigeon, many variations, and its basis is that 2 shins are stacked, 2 ankles are flexed. Ankles hang off the sides of the thighs. Hips for everybody, collected and back. You could elevate your hips an inch or so. That would give more people more access to not getting collapsed into the lower back here, kind of having to fight to stay upright, but to actually sit on the sitting bones and lift up out of the lower back. Yeah, I love the creativity that you're using as you move around and figure out your shape and how you could use your blocks. Let's take the left side pigeon. Double pigeon. Become aware of whether what you've got going on is that you're now slumping down into your lower back. In all ways, we've been working to take what is typical body pattern, some sort of slump and round, and we're looking to open it, give space for breathing, and then deepen the fortify the deep muscles that hold it up like that. Gives us a lightness, a sense of floating as we move through the day. In our style of yoga, what we would call that shape of your body physically is the quality of like, yes, the sense of like, I'm ready for life. Yes, not like I'm a yes man, I'll do anything you ask, but the sense of I'm ready for what life has for me right now. Seated, wide leg forward fold. So open your feet as wide as they'll go to the sides. Toes and knees, they can point straight up. You turn sideways on your mat or just open your feet wide. And then hips elevated and knees soft is great for a lot of bodies, but knees and toes should all point to the ceiling. And then as much as you have access to it, fold forward. You'll want to lift up out of your lower back as you fold. For me, I just find this deep tightness of my inner thighs. It's the spot that's just gotten tighter and tighter over the years. And this pose just leaves my back and my knees feeling so good for the rest of the day. It brings and restores health to my body in that way. It can. Yep. Okay, come on up. Bring your feet together. No, let's do the straight legs. Right straight leg, bent left leg. Seated single leg extensions. Another place you could elevate your hips a little bit. I usually take my hand towel and just keep it really neatly and long folded. So I just have a little something to take my hips up a bit. It just gives me more access to getting up out of the lower back and hinging in the hips rather than just putting the flexion in the back. Even here, you could have an awareness of your foundation. We've set up breath and feet as foundation as an access to what's possible. What's possible, the quality of something bigger than yourself, something more than what it was going to be without you putting this input in. Switch sides. What are you laughing about over there, Ruby? Yes, I bet you feel much better now. It's like that. When you really need class is when you don't want to take class. And that's definitely the time to take class. I can't imagine having found and been taking yoga classes while I was in college. I can't imagine what a difference that would have made for me then. Come on up, 2 legs in front of you, forward fold. So you get your hips walked in and back, your heels long forward away from your hips. I always look for the sit up first. Maybe I even take my hands behind my back to see if I can get the lift. And then fold. So there's so much available in this pose, but getting up out of your lower back is one of the possibilities. Whoops. It's easier on skin than fabric. Up out of your lower back. Come on up. Let's take the fish pose. I've been liking this pose as an active fish pose, but use your block as well. There are a lot of choices here. Active feet, C-shaped hands around your hips, forearms on the mat. Now press your hips and heels away from you. So we get out of the arched lower back. Make your lower back long. And then stretch your whole body long and press your elbows into the ground until your chest starts to open up. So you get a lot of length and space, different from a crouch and crunch and backwards. Using the block, it's a little bit of a different emphasis. It takes a pretty closed area of our bodies that we're not even aware of, the back bottom rib area. If you got a block under there right now, I'm sure you very well know what I'm talking about. Takes this back bottom rib area and just puts some pressure there. You can breathe into it and soften. Onto your flat back. Roll your feet overhead for plow pose. Hands to hips and establish your shoulders as the foundation. Wherever your feet are in space right now, get connected and aligned to them at 12 o'clock, the mound of each big toe pressing into wherever the imaginary wall is, coming from overhead, coming from behind, but get a sense of the imaginary wall that your feet are at 12 o'clock with. When you get your feet, you'll be able to get a sense of lift up from the pelvis to the crown. That's it. A little more big toe. Yeah, center of the heel. You got it, Gracie. And there should be some lift up, less crowding in the pose, less of that suffocating feeling that you can sometimes get in a plow pose. From plow or shoulder stand back to the plow to knees by your temples or ears. The pose is called Karna Padasana. Get your floor here, your feet at 12 o'clock. Wherever your feet are, the center of each heel, the big toes, press them, and get the lift up from the pelvis to the crown. Yeah. Keep all that and come rolling out of this pose one bone at a time of your spine. So one bone of the spine, stretch. The next bone, stretch. If you keep a sense of your heels, the mounds of your big toes, you'll have access to rolling out of this. Yeah, that was really good, Kristen. Hug your knees then into your chest. All the way onto your flat back. Let the pose feel good. Drop your knees to the left and look to the right. Take a sigh, let your body be easy, and switch to the left. Onto your back, Supta Baddha Konasana, the soles together and the knees out. A chance to get the length in your low back. So not now the same flattening and hollow body that we created in the abdominal exercises like our handstand foundation, but here your neutral body. When this feels good to you, your bones are set up to feel good and stable and supported in the pose. Then Shavasana, stretch your legs long and wide. In studio here, you have a cold eye towel. You can place that over your eyes. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Then hug your knees into your chest. Roll to your side. Bring yourself up into a sitting position. Once you get seated in a comfortable way, stretch your arms overhead. Bring your hands to prayer position at the center of your chest and pause here. Feel how it is in your body right now from the results of the work that you've done to create healing for you and set an intention for the rest of your day. One more time, we'll chant Om together. Take a deep breath in. Bring your thumb knuckles to your forehead center and pause. Offer words of gratitude to yourself, getting yourself here, taking care of yourself. And then to anybody in your life who you think could use an extra bit of love from you right now. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Namaste. Good work. Please get your friends, your family, your sorority, your work group signed up for the Move Free Week. It starts on the 23rd. The QR code in the center of the bingo card is the QR code to get them signed up. We're still rebuilding our community after all these last couple years of the pandemic. It would be so great to share a week with your friends and family. Thank you.